Hey guys, it's Sam from Function 101 here to go through a foam rolling series. So I'm going to be going from top to bottom, bottom to top, showing you all the major areas that you can foam roll your body. It's an excellent tool to help to increase some mobility, get your tissues a bit more loosened up, help with getting some more blood flow, and it's relatively a safe way to do some home self-release at this time. Just a quick disclaimer, perhaps you've been given this video link from one of your therapists here at Function 101, or maybe you saw it on our blog, or maybe even you just saw it as you're scrolling through YouTube. I just want to give you that quick disclaimer that if you have any type of injuries that haven't been assessed by a healthcare professional, then before you start this video, it might be a good idea to get those assessed before you begin doing a new activity if you're new to foam rolling. Otherwise, grab yourself a foam roller. It doesn't have to be necessarily this size. It could be a little bit shorter. That's okay. Get yourself into some comfy clothes and let's get started with some foam rolling. So to begin, I'm going to start on the ground, and I'm going to start by targeting my gastrocs and soleus muscles, so the muscles on the back of the leg here. So these muscles work at pointing the toe, plantar flexion. They're really commonly used a lot with walking activities, jumping and running. So it's a great area to do a bit of self-release. What we'll do is just place the foam roller underneath. We're going to start on the left side here, and you can take a bit of the pressure with your arms and with your opposite leg, so you can lift your bum up off the ground. And you're just going to slowly start rolling, going to basically just the top of the muscle there, staying away from the knee joint. And then just kind of walk your way down, rolling yourself till you get to kind of around that mid portion of the Achilles. So I'm just starting right down the center. For all of these areas we're going to be foam rolling today, we're going to be spending about a minute to target each muscle group. That's what I would suggest when you're first starting out this activity, if you're new to foam rolling, not to do more than kind of a minute or two per area. So as you're doing this, you can do a little bit of movement with your foot. You could be doing a little bit of, flexing your toes or pointing your toes. You can even turn your leg a little bit inwards and a little bit outwards. So it's already been a minute right there. Time flies when you're having fun. So now we're going to move down towards our hamstrings. So I'm just going to position myself so the roller is a little bit higher. So hamstrings start from the hip and kind of base of the pelvis there, and then attach to below the knee. So that's where we're going to be targeting. Again, we'll take some weight with that opposite leg and with the hands, and then just roll yourself down from, again, knee joint and up towards the hip joint, the pelvis. We have two major muscle groups here, so you can turn your leg a little bit inwards to target more of that medial aspect of the hamstrings, or turn your leg outwards to target more of that lateral aspect. And maybe you want to get a little bit more pressure. So to do a little bit more pressure, you can cross one leg over to the other side, so that might help you target and get a little bit more pressure through that muscle group. Feeling good? Everyone getting that nice warm feeling in the muscles? Perfect. We're almost getting to that 1 minute mark. All right. So now you're going to bring that foam roller towards your glutes. And when we're doing this, you're going to try to tilt your body a little bit more so you can target that one side versus the other. So to start, you just kind of tilt your body a little bit over to that left side. We're going right over kind of the big bulk of a lot of these muscles behind the hip here in the glute area. Feeling some nice, good spots there. If you spend a lot of time sitting, this is going to be an area that might be a little bit tight on you right now. So be kind to yourself. So as we're doing this here, if you feel like you can go a little bit further, I like to do a little bit of a stretch at the same time. So doing a little bit of this figure four stretch so I can get into some of these areas, exposing the trigger points and the tight areas in that muscle group there. With the foam rolling, nothing should ever feel sharp or painful. It's okay to have a little bit of discomfort. If you are having any sharp pain, ease off, take a little bit of pressure off. You can still do that strategy of taking some of the weight off with that opposite leg. Or maybe you just back off that area for today. Maybe today, that's all that you can do. So again, spending our minute there. Excellent. Okay. So now we're going to transition to more of that lateral side of the leg. So we'll start with the TFL. group, which is a muscle at the side of your hip, tensor fascia lata. So it's a triangle-shaped muscle that sits just right on the side of your pelvis here. So you want to be watching for a couple of areas just to keep your hip safe, avoiding the side of your hip here where there's a bone, and also not to go too hard on the bone on the side of your pelvis. So from here, we're just going to hop onto your side, take a bit of the pressure off with your elbow and the opposite leg so I can keep a little bit of pressure off, and just rolling. So this muscle is really important for issues around the hip flexor, as well as having any kind of lateral leg pain, lateral knee pain, as this muscle attaches to the IT band, the dreaded IT band. So if you have tension in the IT band, it's a really good idea to work on the hip joint and work on this muscle as well as working the rest of your leg, which I'm going to show you next. Okay. So that's a good kind of segue down towards, again, that IT band. So the IT band is really the tendon that attaches from this muscle that I just mentioned, the TFL, the side of the hip, and attaches down to the lateral side of the knee, just below the knee. So it's a tendon, it's never gonna fully release, and there's a lot of fascia to kind of cover throughout the whole leg, not just this one band, but this band in particular can be a little sensitive. And it never quite gets better when you're foam rolling. So just as a disclaimer there as well, you can foam roll it forever and it's always going to be a little bit, sensitive. So I like to try and have people target areas kind of around the IT band so you're not directly on top. So we'll start when your leg is straight. Again, I take some pressure with my hand and my pressure with this leg. So then I'm not putting my whole body weight down. And again, I'm gonna find that bone on the side of my hip and make sure I stay below that bone on the hip and just walk my way down until I get to, just above the knee joint. Again, we don't roll on any joints. So that's gonna be directly on that IT band there, like I mentioned. So what you'll do next is just turn your body slightly forwards. So now we're a little bit more on the quad, which is more like the vastus lateralis, so the lateral quad there. So from there, we can work on tissues around the IT band, not just on the IT band. Great, so after you've done a few passes, along the front side, then you can tilt your body a little bit more backwards. And now I'm on more of the posterior or the back side of the IT band. So again, getting a little bit into that vastus lateralis and a little bit of even lateral hamstrings. And just rolling there. Great. So now we'll transition onto the front where we'll do both quads at the same time. So we'll come over to your front, maybe give your wrists and hands a bit of a break by going on your elbows and just army crawling so you can go through your whole quadriceps group here. So you're going from the front of the hip down to, again, the top of the knee, so not right on the knee joint. If you want to bias one side, you can put one leg on top. So again, we can put a little bit more pressure if we're up for that. Definitely feel a difference when you put all your weight on one leg versus having both. And you can even do a little bit, again, of some self-ART by just finding a trigger point and going through a bit of movement by bending the knee. Of course, the quadriceps group, their job is to work on knee extension. So by doing a bit of knee bend, we're stretching that muscle while we're kind of working on a certain trigger point. Now in your quadricep group, you do have 4 different muscles here. So we already talked about the lateral group when we did the IT band. So again, you can kind of get into that vastus lateralis here by turning your body more to target the outside. We can also turn our body more to target that inside vastus medialis. So wherever your heart desires, wherever you feel like there's more tension that you want to focus on, do that, do what feels good. Again, if it felt better just doing both at the same time, you can just go back to doing both at the same time. 2 birds, kill 1 stone. And you're done there. Okay, now this one is a little bit awkward to get in the right position, but it can give you a lot of benefit if you're having any kind of inner knee pain or discomfort in that inner thigh. So you have to position yourself in a way that you can get your leg out to the side, so then you can get into those groin muscles. And then from here, just again, rolling up and down, nothing too fancy. just again, a little awkward in terms of positioning. I'm taking some pressure off with my arms and also the opposite leg, so then I can, monitor how much pressure I'm doing. Again, if this is awkward or don't like the position, there's other ways you can release this muscle, just showing you kind of one option here, one variation. This is a sensitive spot, so just keep that in mind as you're doing that kind of exercise. That's enough of that one. So now for the front of the shin, because we've already done, again, the rear side when we did our gastrocs and soleus to start this video. So if you have knee issues, this one as well might be one that you want to be a bit more cautious with. So what you'll do is get yourself on top of the foam roller. Again, we'll focus on one leg at a time, and then you can use the other leg to add a bit of pressure, and you'll support most of your body weight through your arms. It's also a bit of a core exercise when you do some of these things, because you have to use your arms to hold your body up. So this muscle can get quite tight if you have ankle stiffness, maybe again from sitting, or maybe you've had previous ankle injuries like ankle sprains, and you find that your ankles feel a little stiff and tight. So it can be a really good one to work on. And again, we're rolling for about a minute as we're hanging out here. Definitely feeling warm, feeling loose. Targeted now most of our lower body muscles, major muscle groups, so you get a really good idea of how you can do that on your own. So now we're going to move over to the upper spine, upper back, which is just an area that I really love working on personally. So I usually have people start where they're aiming for that foam roller to kind of target that mid-back portion. For females, it's a little easier. Just kind of think of where kind of your bra line is. Males, it's a little bit harder to think about, just kind of middle of the back, or if you drew a line from kind of the center where your sternum ends and goes across, that's where you'd start your foam roller. And then from there, you can either have your arms crossed, so then it kind of keeps some of the muscles between your shoulder blades a little bit more exposed as you roll them. Or you could also place your hands behind your head. That can support your neck if you have any kind of neck issues. So again, sitting lots or just bad posture from being on your phone or whatever you might be doing, this is a really nice area to do a bit of stretching and rolling. And then this one transitions really nicely into a bit more of an active stretch. So again, hands behind your head, you keep your bum down for this one, and you're just gonna bend back over top of the foam roller to open up that thoracic spine, work on a bit of extension, and then you can curl yourself back up. From there, you can move down one kind of inch, and you can just work inch by inch going into that upper back. Take some big breaths here so that you can get your ribs moving, kind of sink into that foam roller a little bit. And then we can crunch back up. Now sometimes you might feel little pops or cracks happening. That's okay. Just a little bit of movement, little gas bubbles releasing. Okay. Now we just have two more exercises here to finish up. So we're going to target the shoulder area. So we're going to work on this one area first, which is along your lats and kind of posterior rotator cuff. So if you have some shoulder issues or maybe lacking some mobility reaching up overhead, this would be a really good one for you. So you'll be getting on your side. You're going to have your arm out to the side. So you're already in a bit of a stretch. And then again, we're supporting our weight through our feet a little bit and a little bit through the arm, and then rolling up and down. So this is a really big muscle group, the lats, that spans kind of the back all the way to the shoulders. So that's why I'm rolling, partially on my back at the same time. Once you get up by the shoulder joint and kind of behind the scapula there, you can feel that there's some sensitive spots sometimes. So you might just hang out on that area, which would be targeting a little bit more of your rotator cuff. And here, sometimes I'll have people roll a little bit more on their backside to target that area if that feels like that's the spot, or lean a little bit more forward. Always just kind of hunting for areas that feel tight, tender, and sore, so we can search and destroy and get them loosened up. Okay. Now, the last one that we'll go through, it's actually more of a stretch, not just a rolling. So all of these techniques using the foam roller, you can picture with your tissues, you're just kind of moving them and getting them loosened up through pressure, and that direct pressure helps with increasing blood flow, loosening up the tissue this way, versus stretches are more, elongating the tissue, elongating the muscles in a different plane of movement. So with this one, again, this works better when you have a long foam roller. If you have a short foam roller, you can still do this one. You just might need to position yourself with some other props like a yoga block or maybe some pillows. But what you'll do is make your way down so you're lying on your back through the span of this foam roller. And you bring your arms up, and then we're gonna do 5 repetitions where you're just opening your chest and stretching the muscles in the front of your chest. So again, it's a really good one for opening up areas that can feel like they're really tight from being a little bit more hunched over or sitting and spending time in those positions. So it's just really nice to open up that area there. So we'll do one more with our arms straight. And then we'll do a couple with your arms bent. So this would be like in yoga, they call more of the cactus arms. So just opening our arms, opening our chest, try to really get your arms down there. Again, if you have any shoulder issues or if something feels like more of a sharp pain, please just back off and find a position for your arms that feels good. And then you can also make a few little angels on the ground. So you're just going through your full range of motion. Get your shoulders moving, get your arms moving. And then do 5 of those. And that's how we'll finish up this series. So as you saw, we only went through one side of the body through most of these exercises. So if you have some time and you want to start back at the top, you can rewind this video, get back to the starting position and go through that, or take that time next time to do the whole series on both sides of your body. We hope you found that helpful and knowledgeable, being able to learn about how to foam roll, again, top to bottom through your body. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at Function 101, either our email, info@function101.ca, or you can look us up on Instagram at Function 101 Lock. Thanks and have a great day.